sorry about the last video. This is part 2. Thank you for coming back and I hope you enjoy. Also, I am so sorry about stuttering. I've always had to deal with that since I was growing up and I've tried to limit it. It doesn't help. You can tell where I try to keep from stuttering, but it just doesn't help. We just kept continuing down the seemingly endless road with no real semblance of time, but then we finally saw something that was different. Way off in the distance we could see something large blocking the road in both lanes. As we got closer we identified the obstruction as several large vehicles parked sideways. It was an apparent military blockade. There were 2 large Humvees and a single canopy-topped troop carrier. As we approached, my dad began slowing down. When we started getting close, the men manning their peculiar posts started shining their incredibly bright spotlights in our direction from the tops of the vehicles. We then heard a loud, deep voice over a loudspeaker. "Shut your engine down and keep your hands where I can see them." We obliged, of course. My dad turned the car off and both of us stuck our hands out of our respective windows. It was at that point that we started seeing the soldiers. They seemed to be wearing normal military uniforms, though with the bright lights it was hard to tell because they were heavily silhouetted. One thing I did find strange was that they were all wearing gas masks. Something about this just didn't seem right. Nothing about this entire situation made sense. Why would they be blocking off the road going away from the base? Why has the sun apparently been frozen just beyond the horizon? And what were those lights I had been seeing? I counted 6 soldiers of varying height and build. They all seemed to be carrying standard M4 assault rifles as one would expect, but there was just something about them that seemed off. That point accentuated by the gas masks. We were approached by 1 soldier on each side of the car. Each of our windows was met with a soldier, and the one on my father's side asked in a stern, somewhat warped-sounding voice, "What business do you have being here?" My dad answered nervously, "We're just trying to get back to our hotel." The soldier in an even deeper, more warped-sounding voice replied, "Hotel? I don't know of any hotels around these parts." It was at this point that I started feeling strange. Time and space seemed distorted. I looked at the soldier on my side of the car and noticed that he had no skin exposed whatsoever. I looked him dead in the eye, and all of a sudden I was having images appear in my mind's eyes. Thousands of them, all at once and an accompanying cacophony of sound bombarding my ears from within. I had never experienced anything so intense and overpowering in my life, and doubt that I ever will again. I used all my energy just to try and stay conscious, but I couldn't hold out for long. The next thing I knew, it was early morning the next day. The sun had apparently set and risen as it always does, and my father and I regained consciousness together. We were still in our car, with the car in motion, however now all the electronics were functioning properly. We were turning down the street that leads to our hotel. It seems as though my father had driven all the way back with no memory of it. He told me that he had a similar experience to what I did and also lost consciousness around the same time as me. The clock radio in the car said it was 6:18 a.m. My dad checked his analog watch to confirm it, but it read out 1:15 as the time. It was off by over 5.5 hours, but it was ticking again. We didn't know what to say to each other. Neither of us could come close to comprehending what had happened that night. We made it back up to the hotel room with my mom worried sick and us not knowing where to start to explain what the fluff had happened to us. We ended up just telling her that our car broke down on the highway, so we were stuck on the road all day waiting for help and had forgotten to charge our cell phones. So it wasn't until earlier that morning that a generous trucker stopped and helped us get our car in working order again. She was incredibly mad, as she had every right to be, but she believed our story. It didn't feel right telling her what actually happened since we weren't even sure ourselves. My father and I still don't talk about that night with each other to this day. I'm not going to try to speculate on what exactly happened. Maybe we saw something we shouldn't have. Maybe the desert sun just does strange things with your mind. I will leave you with a small word of advice. If you pursue the mysterious, you've got no one but yourself to blame if you find it. And that's it for this story. I am so sorry that I gutted it. I was feeling nervous. But if you like this, give it a like and comment down below if you want more.